Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
So your boy Tim Norman goes to trial in just 2 days and the heat is turning up. The defense is playing hot potato, going back and forth with the prosecution in a game that I like to call throw it out. If Tim's attorney sees something damning on their end, they file a motion to throw it out, and the same with the prosecution. Well, with me being nosy, I went and paid for some documents that I recently skipped over, not knowing exactly what they were. And guess what, y'all? It's the cell phone tower records. Child, they pinged Tim going to the U.S. bank cashing Sweetie Pie's checks. Too long after meeting up with Terica, they also pinged Tim going back to the airport after the murder, heading back to California. They pinged Terica going to the mall before the murder, driving to the murder, calling Andre right before the murder, calling Tim right after the murder. Child, they got it all. So for all of the Einsteins that think that burner phones are the way to go, let this be a lesson to you, because it ain't. But before we get into all of that, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any of this tea. Now let's get back into it. So there was a pretrial conference held this past Friday, and all of those motions of limine that Tim and his attorneys filed, the one to continue the trial to a later date to give Tim more time to go over new discovery and find an expert witness to testify that Tre'vell isn't reliable given his drug usage, the one to omit Andre's text messages with Miss Robbie, the motion to not include Chris Carroll's testimony, the motion to omit Tre'vell's phone calls with his brother in jail, and the motion to omit Special Agent Frunt expert testimony to the cell phone tower records have all been denied. Now, Tim's attorneys, who I personally felt were pretty strong at first, are now fumbling to try to get Tim out of this predicament. They want to call expert witness Russell Luce to testify on their behalf. Well, who is Russell Luce, you may ask? He is a registered financial consultant who has 30 plus years in the financial service industry, handling life, underwriting, insurance, and things of that nature. He has no personal or prior dealings with Tim or Andre. Just someone the defense feels knows the industry of insurance and can testify. Given his years of knowledge, it is his opine that it is reasonable, typical, and not unusual for a person in the position such as Mr. Norman to take out a life insurance policy on someone such as Mr. Andre Montgomery. Again, such an opinion will be based on Mr. Luce's professional experience, education, and knowledge of the life insurance industry. And I'm going to tell y'all how Tim's attorneys are literally grasping at straws. They sent this information to the government on Friday, the Friday before trial at 4:50 a.m., 9 hours before the pretrial conference. The government wants this expert witness precluded from the trial because of the untimely and insufficient nature of the disclosure. They're also saying that the disclosure does not explain what it means by a person in a position such as Mr. Norman, or what it means by the phrase someone such as Mr. Andre Montgomery. My thing is this: even if Tim was allowed to take out insurance on Andre, in my personal opinion, he couldn't take out that insurance policy without Andre's knowledge. And the communication he had back and forth with Wally Wael Yagnam, Tim was asked to pretend as if he was Andre. So there's a difference between being able to take insurance policy out on someone and illegally take insurance policies out on someone without their prior knowledge. This man, Mr. Luce, to me is not a credible witness because he doesn't know Andre, he doesn't know Tim, even though he does know the insurance industry for over 30 years. My question to him would be, how many insurance policies have you granted to someone illegally, sir? Is it typical that the person that takes the insurance out on someone will actually know that someone has less than 6 months to live, sir? All of the evidence against Tim at this point, Tim should have just pled guilty, and all of these expert witnesses need to have several seats. So let's get into the main event, which are these cell phone towers. So an expert statement that will be given by Special Agent Bastien Frunt. The analysis will go over 2 phones used by Tim, a phone used by Terica, and one used by Terica's mother, as well as GPS data from DJ Beats, aka Darrell Howard, who was the guy that Tim allegedly instructed to give the $5,000 to Tre'vell Hill for the murder of Andre. Special Agent Frunt gave maps illustrating the radius of each tower, and the thing to know about these towers, they know the dates, the times, when calls were made, when texts were made, the duration of calls, whether it was incoming or outgoing, and the target number who the phone number was in contact with. Another thing to note about these towers, they know when you turn on your GPS and they also know when you turn on your Wi-Fi. So on the morning of the murder at 12:18 a.m., cell phone towers located Tim near the Lambert Airport, and he received a call from, I believe it was Chris Carroll at the time. Now, prior to that, Tim's phone was last located in Los Angeles, California. Now, after all of that, cell phone towers located Tim near the Chase Park Plaza. This is the same hotel that Terica and Tim got it in at. Now, you know from previous texts that I've read you, Tim and Terica met at the Chase Park Plaza shortly after 11 a.m. They did the do and started talking about the setup of Andre Montgomery. While Terica was still with Tim, she texted Andre at 12:14 to start the setup. Shortly after that, there were some texts and calls received from both of Tim's phones, and look at that. There is the Walgreens that the burner phones were purchased at. At 1:23 p.m., the burner phones were both cut on, and a call was made from one burner phone to the other to lock the numbers in. And look at that. The Chase Park Plaza is just a few blocks away from the Walgreens where they purchased these phones from. Now, prior to the burner phones being cut on, Andre gets a text from Terica. Andre's number is the number ending in 7892, and Terica is in the blue ending in 5151. This was when Terica was trying to get the location of Andre. He was at the La Quinta, remember? Now, at 2:01 p.m., Terica began calling Andre's phone. She was calling him from her Walgreens burner phone ending in 4415. She called Andre 3 times, and when she found out his location, she called him on his burner phone ending in 8132, less than 22 seconds after getting off the phone with Andre. Now, y'all remember when Dre said he was on Taylor Road near Dunn Road? Well, Terica's phone pinged right where this dot is, so she was very close. Then Tim, stupidly enough, carries his burner phone and his registered cell phone at the same time. What's the point of carrying a burner phone if you're going to carry your clean phone? Tim then uses his burner phone to call Terica's burner phone at 3:49, and she calls right back. Prior to that, Tim gets an incoming call to his clean phone from DJ B, aka Mr. Darrell Howard, who has his GPS on in close proximity to the Chase Park Plaza, same hotel that Tim and Terica were at. Again, Mr. Darrell Howard was the guy that was supposed to pick up the $5,000 to give to Tre'vell Anthony Hill. Then Tim is pinged near the bank, which is a few blocks from the Chase Park Plaza, where he deposits $30,000 in U.S. Bank for Sweetie Pie's Hollywood, dated March 14th, which is the same day of the murder. Tim then heads back to the hotel and makes a call to Terica with his burner phone, and then makes a call from the same location to Darrell Howard with his clean phone 1 minute later. I'm going to tell you, from a person that loves investigations, finding someone this stupid is an investigator's dream. Tim made all of the wrong moves, and unfortunately, these moves are going to keep his ass locked up. Let's continue. At 6 p.m., Tim goes to another U.S. bank and makes 4 deposits totaling $4,320. He still has both of his cell phones with him because he called Terica from his burner phone at 5:52 on the way to the U.S. bank and makes a call from his clean phone just 2 minutes later. He then uses his burner phone again to make a call to Terica's burner phone, who is pinged at the Galleria Mall, and the call was made at 6:16 p.m. Then Terica makes a bunch of calls to Andre while still sitting in the mall parking lot. This is when she was trying to find out his location, again because Tim's people were not ready and in place when Andre was at the La Quinta Hotel. She calls Andre at 7. He texts her at 7:02. So obviously the phone call that she made to Andre was dropped, because that's when he texted her at 7:02 saying, "I'm in the basement." She texts back at 7:04, although the tower said it was 7:03, and she says, "I thought you were on your way to the fairground." He texts back at 7:05, "I'm here at the studio across from the fairground. We're supposed to shoot the rest of the video today. I'm trying to see what's up." She texts back at 7:06 and she says, "Okay, I'm leaving the mall." Of course, she's pinged right at the mall. He texts her at 7:07 and he says 3964 Natural Bridge, and less than 38 seconds later, she calls Tim's burner phone, obviously relaying the location. Terica's phone is then pinged right where Andre told her he would be, right near the fairground, right across the street from 3964 Natural Bridge, like he said. She calls Tim at 7:52. Tim calls her right back. She calls Andre at 7:55. Must have taken Andre a minute for him to come outside because she calls Tim's burner phone 1 minute after her previous call from Andre. Andre calls her at 7:58. She gets a text at 8:01. The murder is then committed. She calls Tim's burner number at 8:02 and again at 8:03. The towers are showing that she is then driving off. The murder was committed here. All of these blue dots are AT&T cell phone towers. They pinged Terica getting a call from Tim's burner phone at 8:15, and here at location number 2, she calls him at 8:59. Here at location number 3, she calls him at 11:48. And her final location where she took her burner phone that night was in Memphis, right here, which is where she lived. Tim is then pinged with both phones on him close to the airport all that night, looking like he may have taken the red-eye flight out that next morning. Go back to Mr. Darrell Howard, aka DJ Beats. Now, the night of the murder, actually 1 hour after the murder, Wi-Fi coordinates pinged Mr. Howard at the Chase Park Plaza, picking up the money for Travell Hill that Tim left. At the airport, Tim then carries all 3 of his phones, the burner phone, his California phone, and his Missouri phone, all back to California, and he used them all when he got back to California, and cell phone towers picked up on all of them. Now, on the day of the 16th, Mr. Darrell Howard's Wi-Fi pinged him everywhere, child, and he ended up on 1012 Dillon Court. He delivered the money as promised. On March 22nd, Tim treats Terica and her mom to hot and juicy crawfish in West Hollywood. This is when Terica's mother's phone is pinged in the area. Terica's mother's phone is then seen in communication with Tim's phone. Tim no longer is carrying his burner phone. This is the end of the cell phone tower investigation, and let me tell you this. All of this is very damning. There's really no other way. Tim wasn't involved. Terica wasn't involved. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I see the angle that the prosecution is going with, and I'm happy with y'all. I'm really happy because now y'all are also including the flight records. Y'all remember Tim lied and told the insurance company that he was in California the day of the murder, but obviously the flight records and the cell phone tower records show differently. Wael, Terica, Travell, all of them say differently. Tim, your goose is cooked, but I will say this. If they put him on kitchen duty, y'all's food about to be slamming. As long as he don't put nothing in it. This case is so crazy and it's like an onion. It has so many layers and it'll make you cry. I can't see Tim just going through all of these crazy lengths to kill his nephew. Like, why? This is just crazy. I'm telling you, as this case unfolds, as more witnesses come forward and give testimony, we're going to find out some things that we probably wish we wouldn't have known. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on with these cell phone towers? What do you think about this new special witness that the defense has brought forward to speak on Tim's behalf that has never met Tim nor Andre to give the reason why Tim should have taken insurance out on Andre? Leave a comment and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.